The next speaker, Ryan Tierney from Seating Matters. And Ryan, I met on Group 11. I've said this probably a couple of times during this event. And there was something about the relationship between Ryan and I on that trip. Declan, JB, we were on the bus together with Ron. And there was just something about the group that just kind of clicked. We sat in the front of the bus together. There was a bunch of crazy Australians in the back having a really good time, and but we just sat in the front of the bus and we really seemed to bond really well together. And I remember, and Ryan and I talked about this this morning, and I just remember standing in the airport after it was all over, and we looked at one another and went, there's something about the relationship I think we're not done. I mean, we're just not done. We felt like we would continue to communicate. There was just something that was a click. And so last year, on my way to Yellow Tool, Tanner and I traveled to Seating Matters to spend a day with them. And we were there all day. We were fortunate enough that John Kramer and Mark Braun and Meg and some other people from Cambridge just happened to show up on the same day. We had no idea when we got there, got in the hotel that night, and we're all in the same hotel. So it was a fantastic thing. And Tanner and I were there all day. We left at the end of the day. And when I came home, I felt, I want to do what Ryan's doing. I want to follow the path that Seating Matters is doing, because they're doing phenomenal things, and everybody in this room knows it. You guys have all seen it. So I called Ryan up and I said, I would like to send 4 people there to work for a week. We're going to take 4 people. We're going to fly them over. Can they come in there and just literally get on the line, hands dirty, don't show them what you're doing, make them do what you do. He said, send them. And I did. I sent 4 people. And 3 of them are here today. And it was probably the changing point for Fireblast to move forward. So I feel that everything that you saw today in our facility, whether you liked it or not, it got started from them. And Allison, JB, Declan, I mean, I can't tell you, Declan, how many times I listened to Jason say, what would Declan do? What would Declan do? I mean, this is what I heard when they came home. But it totally changed it. I owe a lot of what went on to this gentleman right here. Love him to death, Ryan Tierney.
Thank you. Thanks.
Hug me, man.
Thank you. All right. You've all heard the saying, the best wine is kept to the last. But in this case, I believe that it's not necessarily true. I think the best wine was kept to the second last. Please give Oliver a round of applause. Thank you. So my name's Ryan Tierney. I come from a company called Seating Matters. We're based in Northern Ireland. We set up the company 12 years ago, myself and my 2 brothers, and we supply specialist seating to nursing homes and care facilities all over the world. So we set up the company 12 years ago, and 3.5 years ago, I had a light bulb moment. And it came one night when I went home totally stressed. One night, I wasn't sleeping, I wasn't eating. The business wasn't going the way we wanted it to go. We had loads of quality issues, loads of defects, very, very high staff turnover. I mean, if you think you were bad, we were 10 times worse. We were a mess. And I got on my iPad at my kitchen table one night and I said, there has to be a better way. We can't keep living like this. It's not healthy. So I went on YouTube, like it's a familiar story that I've heard from a lot of you over the past few days. I typed in how to organize a factory, how to run a factory, all this type of stuff. And lo and behold, Paul Akers came up. And without exaggerating, I watched that fast cap lean tour video about 30 times that night. I barely slept. It was a real light bulb moment for me. And at that point, I says, we're going to do this. We're going to do 2-second lean. And I went in the next day to JB and Decky, and I said, you have to see this 2-second lean. It's unbelievable. We're going to transform our whole company. And they thought it was crazy. But I done exactly that, and we done exactly that. And now 3.5 years on, we have transformed our company. Not just a small change, I mean transformed it from what it was to what it is today. So that was my first light bulb moment. But I had a second light bulb moment. And the second light bulb moment came when myself and 3 others from our company went to visit Michael at Yellow Tools. And we were there for a 1.5-day tour. And at the end of the tour, we were sitting in Michael's little canteen/cafe area, a few of you have been there. And Michael said, "Remember, Ryan, lean is about growing and developing people." And I said, "Yeah, I know." And we kind of brushed it aside and kept talking. But before I got into the minibus to go home, Michael's little minibus, he grabbed me by the arm. And he said, "Remember, Ryan, lean is about growing and developing people." And I said, I know. And he goes, "No, but you haven't internalized it." And I thought, there's something more to this. So on the way home in the minibus and the plane and the train and you've been there, it's far away, the taxi, whatever, the whole way home I was thinking about what Michael had said. And I was really trying to internalize what he told me. And I thought, this is interesting. So that was on the Thursday. And on the Monday, I was going in for an operation, and I'd be off work for 3 weeks. So 2 weeks into the 3 weeks, I was lying in bed. This is me just recovering right after my operation. I had all these ideas and all these thoughts coming to my mind. It was 4 o'clock in the morning. And I thought, imagine I could come up with an image or a graph or some type of system to explain what Michael was trying to internalize for me. And I said, what if we had a graph to explain that lean is a tool to develop people? What if I could make an image? So I went downstairs, and at the kitchen table covered in paper, there was paper everywhere, and I was writing out all these things, and all these words were coming to my mind. And I like everything very simple. Anybody that knows me, I think simple. So I thought, lean is basically a 3-stage process. That's all it is, and we all know that. You have an idea, you take action, and then you test it. But what happens when we test it? We have another idea. We take action again, and we test it again. So needless to say, it's a cycle of continuous improvement. Not one-time improvement and move on. No, every person, every day, everything, it's a cycle. So I wrote that down. And then I thought, there must be more to this. So I thought, when we're in the idea stage, what are we really doing? We're brainstorming, we're creative thinking. When we're in the action stage, all we're really doing is using our skills, we're challenging ourselves. And then I thought, when we're in the testing stage, we're examining, we're evaluating, we're collaborating with other people. And I thought, this is maybe going somewhere. It was about 5 a.m. at this stage. And I thought, there has to be more. And then I said, I realized, it just hit me what Michael said. Lean, idea, action, test, is a tool for developing people. I'm going to say it again. Lean is a tool for developing people. That's all it is. When we engage people in continuous improvement and give them the freedom to continuously improve every single day, this is what's happening to our people. Improved mental health, positivity, significance, appreciation, contribution. These are powerful words. And Steve Kane talked yesterday about the 6 basic human needs, and this covers them all. So really all we're doing as lean leaders is growing and developing people. We were doing lean for 3 years and I missed the whole thing. It's on the front page of the 2-second lean book, how to grow people and develop a culture of continuous improvement, but I missed it. So we've shown this PDS system, this PDS chart, to companies that have came on tours with us from all over the world. And it's not until they've seen this PDS chart that they really got what lean was about. Because nowhere on that chart does it say increase profits by 20%, reduce defects by 15%. Regis, staff turnover. It's not there. Because if we focus on growing and developing the people, everything else looks after itself. So in our company, we talk about you can learn something or just kind of brush over stuff. But what we like to do is internalize stuff, really internalize what's going on. So I really internalize this. And what I'm going to show you now is a video from a guy from our company. He's called Paul Ferris. He's been with us for 4 years. And at the start of Lean, Paul did not get it at all. In fact, he really, really resisted it. And it came to the point where we were seriously talking about Paul having to exit the company. He really didn't get it. So now, Paul has transformed his life through the process of continuous improvement. Because we allowed Paul, we give Paul the freedom to continuously improve, and Paul has changed his life.
So I'd like you all to meet Paul. Paul is an unbelievable lean thinker. He's been with the company for 4 years, and he's one of the best examples that I can think of for showing that lean is a tool to grow and develop people. So let's have a look at some of Paul's improvements.
Yeah, so we're at the back check. This here's where we put the wings on to our backs, and everything clicks into place. Everything's at hand. It's everything, you know what it's for. There's no labels to go into this to fall off. Everything's on it, easy to work with. We have our clamps on it, clamps down on our wing, keeps it all perfect, and make sure everything's right first time.
So this next improvement will blow you away. The detail that Paul has went to angle every single shelf so that it's easy to read the labels.
Flat in front of you, so you're looking straight at it all the time. That means the further you go down, you don't have to crouch down like this to look on at something. If that there's down, sitting like this. So you're standing just nice, and your eye sees it wherever you're at.
Good stuff.
Yeah, everything's right where I need it. I have my tape measure here, I have my drill bits, my drill, hammers hanging, sander, glue, spray glue, everything's right where I need it.
Paul actually went to Yellow Tools in Germany, and that's where he got a lot of his inspiration for his improvements. So the key message I would like to get across here is that it's not actually about the improvements. The improvement is only a tool to develop the person, and that's exactly what Paul has done.
Hey Paul, so what do you think lean has done for you as a person?
For me as a person, it's given me a lot more confidence. I can go now and hold a meeting in front of 50 people from before I wouldn't have done it in front of 5 people. I have a lot more confidence in myself. I have a lot more satisfaction in what I do. I think given the freedom to make your improvements at your area, because you're the one that's doing the job every day, so you should be fixing what bugs you in that area instead of somebody coming around telling you what to do. So I think that has to be done. It needs to be done, and if you get that right, it's just going to change everything for you. So it's given me a lot more variety in the improvements that I do through the day. So it's given me a lot more fulfillment. It gives you a sense of achievement and accomplishment. So I've just recently bought my first house. I've been renting for so long, 13, 14 years, and it was a goal of mine to go on ahead and get my first house bought, and now I've achieved that.
Yep, I find Paul's got a lot more confidence. He's reading, which is a thing I have never known Paul to do. He's more enthusiastic, he's more motivated, and he comes up with so many ideas, especially with the lean, and he's incorporating it even at home. I find that Paul has gained confidence, that he'll speak out in front of people a lot more. He'll, voice his opinion, whereas before he never ever would have. He'd have just thought a lot more than what he actually would have said. So his confidence has definitely boosted a lot. Peyton's starting to pick up from her daddy by watching him doing all his improvements. She's starting to actually do her own, using her own brain.
Hey Peyton, so what's that you have in your hand?
It's my perfect one.
So as you can see, Paul has an amazing family and he's implementing lean at home as much as at work. So remember, lean is a tool for growing and developing people. Focus on your people and everything else will look after itself.
So this is exactly what we're doing every day. Whether we realize it or not, we have the power to change people's lives. And lean is a powerful tool for doing that. Paul has transformed his life. I mean, totally transformed from not getting this at all to being one of our champions, our lean champions, to buying a house. He decided on the way home from the Yellowtail trip that he was going to buy a house. So these are all the things that lean does for people. And it's unbelievable that we're in the position as leaders to do this. So the second thing we'd like to talk about quickly is that we are proud and honoured to be the hosts of the GLLS 2020, this time next year in Limavady, Northern Ireland. So Rick asked me to say a few words on what to expect at the summit next year, and it's quite simple. In fact, it's very simple. You're not coming to see our improvements. You're not even coming to see our facility. You're coming to see what a world-class group of lean leaders can do to transform a company in 3.5 years. And we're proud to have you all. Thank you.
Fantastic. Questions for Ryan? I know he gave us everything, so where are we looking at right down here?
Hi Ryan, I'm Irvin from Hampton Conservatories. Ryan, what do you think was the pivotal point of change for Paul? What was the tipping point for Paul?
Yep, good question. Brilliant question, actually. The tipping point for Paul was when he realized that lean was as much of a benefit for him as it was for the company. Because it still comes across, I think, that lean is a cost-saving, cost-reduction, quality tool, when it's actually not at all. That's a byproduct. So when Paul realized that everything he's doing every day to continuously improve was as good for him and his family as it was for the company and the customer. So that's what it really did click, and it happened over one day. Paul came to me one day and he says, I get this. So that's what changed. It's unbelievable. Thank you.
Questions? You gonna let him off easy? Ted.
So Ryan, what made you and your team decide to run that marathon, the Belfast Marathon, and raise all that money to help those kids?
Yeah, great question. It was actually Martin, who's my brother, who's at the back of the room. It was Martin's idea to raise the money. Martin's always doing charity work. He does a lot of work in Haiti, and he's always raising money. So we thought we would run the marathon. So 16 people from our company took part and raised £10,500. And I know a lot of people in this room donated money on our Just Giving page, so thanks very much for that. We really appreciate it. Thanks.
Jessica over here.
Ryan, thank you for your talk. We really appreciated it, and for inviting us all to come to Ireland. Rick, he invited us personally, so keep that in mind.
How many people? How much is that going to be next year? Or how many people are going?
Where's Leah? Where's she? Oh gosh, she's in here. I didn't think she was in the room right now. Okay, but I do have a question in regards to Paul, and before it clicked and before he came to you, what did you do as a leader or the other leaders within your company to help develop him instead of, he was at that point where you're almost ready to let him go, but what did you do to help develop him?
Yep, great question again. What we try and do is create pull instead of push. We've all heard of it, but it's really an unbelievable concept when you internalize it. So if we were forcing Paul to do improvements, we're pushing. We're saying, you need to improve. Where's your improvement? Why have you not improved? That's all push, push, push. But what we like to do is create pull. So when we're creating pull, people want to do it. So the PDS charter has been unbelievable for us. We educate people on that, we teach people on that, and they see that every improvement they're doing is for themselves. So once they get over that hurdle that lean isn't about all the things that they think it is, once they understand that, we have found anyway, and a few other companies that are here in the room as well, have found that it just took off after they realised that. And that's what happened for Paul.
I just want to add to that, Ryan, because in terms of teachers, we have Paul Akers, first of all, but then we have Alison Roddy, JB Dobbin, and Declan McKeever. And without those three people leading and pushing and guiding Paul, in addition to what you've done for him, Paul wouldn't have got that. So JB is right here. Maybe stand up, JB, so everybody can see you. JB, and this is Alison, this is Declan. And it's hard pushing it from the top, but when you have three amazing people like this guiding Paul as well, it becomes very easy to do great things.
That's that surround yourself with successful people that we heard about earlier. It's really what it is. Any more questions? Got one right over here.
Just a follow-up question to maybe letting him go. Is there a certain point that you feel like an employee is just not going to make it?
Good question. To date, we have never had to let someone go in 3.5 years. Some have left of their own free will, but we would never let anyone go. It goes back to respect for people. And just think how that would feel if someone is let go because of not engaging in continuous improvement. It would just destroy our whole culture. So we would never go there. We do everything we can to hold on to people. If they don't get it, we train them. If they don't get it, we train them again. Train. Let them understand that it's for their benefit as much as anything else. And every human being has the 6 basic human needs. And all the basic human needs are met by engaging in continuous improvement. So everyone does do it and everyone can do it. So we've never had to let anyone go. Yep. Thank you.
We got one right here.
Ryan, I appreciate the things that you've talked about, developing the people. I'd like to ask you, what feedback have you gotten from your customers? Because we don't have an economic engine if we don't have customers, right? Mm-hmm. Lean is some tools that help us achieve the needs of our customers. But what feedback have you gotten? Have they come to your facility? What does that look like?
Yep, we do tours. We do 1 tour a week. We get 5 or 6, 7 requests a week. It's unbelievable. But we try to do customer tours as well. So we're trying to bring occupational therapists, nurse managers to see our facility. And as soon as they walk in the door, as soon as they see what we're doing, it gains trust. I think trust, because Paul always says quality equals trust, trust equals survival. So when they see the quality, when they see how we have our processes dialed in, when they meet our people, when they experience our morning meeting, customers, it really helps for sales. It really helps customers across the line. If you compare our competitors with ourselves, our competitors' average lead time is 6 to 8 weeks for our product. Our lead time is 1 week. Quality is probably double any other competitor. Lead time's better, quality's better. Basically, everything that a customer would want, we're able to serve that better than all of our competitors. And Lean has been really a driving force behind our sales.
Any other questions for Ryan? All right, Ryan Tierney.
Thank you.